Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmy from Emmy Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. If this is not your first time, thank you for coming back. I do have workshops coming up. If you'd like to come to one of those workshops and learn from me some of the techniques, concepts that can help you to really tap into your personal power, go check it out, k33academy.com/store. So, guys, I asked what this reading was going to be about, and what I heard is the feels and thoughts are getting intense. Mercury. Mercury. All right. Let's just woosah it out. Woosah. Woosah. We're going to have to woosah that out, okay? Hi, Mindy. You always make me glow. Oh my God. Speaking of, oh my God. I need to listen to my husband more because he is a genius and knows so much about life. Give me 1 second. 1 second. Okay. So someone sent me a friend request, right? And I was just like, who is this? Mind you, I don't ever look at my friend requests. I just leave that alone. I totally leave that alone. And for some reason, this person's name looked familiar. Oops, sorry. This person's name looked familiar. I couldn't place it. Their face didn't look familiar, but I was like, is this someone that I went to high school with? I should not have clicked on that. So I did not approve of the friend request, but I was like, I wonder if this is someone I went to high school with. And let me just, on their intro, it says, Daddy pay weekly and love his babies. So, a couple weeks ago, I was totally messing around on the live stream. And Mindy, you were totally egging me on. I was like, old man fetish. Ooh, old man fetish. And then, my husband's like, stop saying that on a live stream because you're going to invite issues for yourself. And then he goes and talks to my oldest son, and my oldest son is like, Mom, you have to stop. You're going to end up on the wrong algorithm. Oh, I'm just saying, sometimes men are smart. Mindy, neither you nor I shall be blamed. We cannot help it if we are effervescent and have a fully developed, robust sense of humor. We shall no longer do the dance or say the words. We shall behave because our humor is being ill received. It is being ill received. Like 99% of the things I say that are not profound are absolute sarcasm. Seriously, you guys, 99% of the things that I say, if it's not profound, it's sarcasm. This is my coping mechanism to be human. Please, I don't really have a fetish like that. I'm saying, okay? I'm saying I'm very happily married. Okay, I'm not talking about married for a year, and there's wiggle room for you to slide into my DMs. It's cemented shut. I don't wear a ring because I'm allergic to metals, including gold. Okay? It's not an open marriage. You guys, leave me alone. I'm saying. I'm barely compatible with humans. Leave me be. Just leave me in my sarcasm. Okay? It's sarcasm. It's just sarcasm. God. Jesus Christ. It's sarcasm. Oh my God. All right. 1, 2 sarcasms. 3 sarcasms. You guys, seriously, it's sarcasm. I'm just saying. Okay, let's get started. I'm trying to behave. I'm trying to behave today. Trying to behave. Let me just breathe. It's just a challenge. Being a well-behaved human is a fucking challenge for me. It's a challenge. It's a challenge. Okay. We're well-behaved. One more shuffle. I'm going to start some methylated vitamins. Maybe that will help. Maybe because my vitamins are not methylated. We're going to see how that works. Maybe I'll be able to resist the intrusive thoughts that make it irresistible to be sarcastic and poorly behaved. Maybe. Maybe not. We shall see. Let's get started. All right. Here goes. So feels and thoughts are getting intense. It's because Mercury retrograde. Don't do anything with this energy. Leave it alone. I'm already telling you what the reading is going to be about. Don't do anything with this energy. Do not take any actions. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Only do things that you don't want to prosper and continue long term. I'm being absolutely serious. When is Mercury direct? Hold on. It's like May 15th. May 14th. Bitch. I'm saying, bitch. I knew it. How did I know? Okay, but then see, after it goes direct on the 14th, it's another 2 weeks. 2 weeks that we're going to be in its fizzling phase. Okay. So be careful. Be careful. Be careful. All right. The cards are speaking facts right now. I can't behave. I can't. You're asking for too much from me. I can't. Until my methylated vitamins come in. I can't behave because look, they're calling you out. You're very unhinged right now. Yes, it's a very unhinged time. There's a lot of like really shadowy things going on. Because look, these are externalized projections of an internal circumstance. You're totally being called out. And then you're scared about things that are happening, but it's like, boo, you're protected. Did you step out of the circle? You know what I'm saying? Get back in the circle. You belong in the circle of trust between you, yourself, and your soul. So what needs to happen now is you need to trust yourself a little bit more, right? Because things are about to get super intense. And just because they get super intense does not mean you have to take responsibility for someone else's actions or lack thereof. So, him. Okay, so life lesson. I'm starting. Life lesson. I'm just going to drink my unsweetened chai latte. Here's a lesson in karma. Here's a lesson in karma. Don't worry, Jessie Bessie. You're going to get a pep talk. Here's a lesson in karma. Okay, so there's you and something else. You're one foot, and then there's another foot. There's a bipedal. Your soul is bipedal, right? You're in that circle of trust, right? That means you're protected. So just chill. Let things go ahead and continue to escalate, intensify, and whatever it is, just chill. I'm talking to myself right now too because I have no chill. You don't have to take responsibility for other people's actions or lack thereof. What ends up happening though, if there's a lack of action and your expectation is for expedient action, excuse me, and you begin to go off reservation because you want to just, push things along, that's gonna not end in your favor. That's going to not end in your favor. Okay. So, what is the advice? To become aware of the need to just sit your lamb ass down and chill. Just chill. I can't. We can't. We have no chill. But you're going to have to find it, or you're going to have to buy some. I don't know. You're going to have to do something with that so that you can chill out. I think for many people, the need to push things along, the need to keep like following up, it works to a certain degree, right? You can't be too far down that path where the follow-ups are becoming, detrimental to your cause. But at the same time, you can't be super complacent and not do your due diligence. Okay, that's important too. So you're going to have to find this beautiful middle ground that can help you, where, every once in a while, in a tactful, non-aggressive manner, you go ahead and seek out updates, kind of see if there's any other things that need resolution, that type of thing, right? It's important that you not get too carried away with swinging to any extremes, whether you're going to just completely stop participating, or you're going to swing the other way and be too hyperactive in your participation. That's not going to serve you. So you have to find this beautiful middle ground where you could literally just lay there for a little bit. Okay. Envision yourself in a gorgeous ethereal forest with sparkly stuff everywhere. What are those plants? Hold on. Okay. They look kind of like, let's see, almost like snowdrops, but lily of the valley. Maybe they're like lily of the valley. Let's look here. Leucodium flowers. No. They're definitely not datura. Hold on, guys. I got to find out what this flower means because it really stands out to my short attention span. It does. Okay. Let's see. 48 types of white droopy flowers. Heliotrope. It's not a heliotrope. Wisteria. I love wisteria. Invasive ass species. Nope. Nope. Come on. These are not droopy flowers, you guys. These are not droopy flowers. You had me click on this. Lily of the Valley. Hold on. I think that with some like divine feminine stuff. Lily of the Valley. Let's see. Purity, joy, love, sincerity, happiness, and luck. Okay. It protects gardens from evil spirits. The flower of fairies who drink from its tiny cups. Oh my God! I need to grow Lily of the Valley. Oh no! Fairies are not our friends. They steal things. You know, I grow skullcap and foxglove because fairies like them. And you know what ended up happening? My strawberries from last year decided to propagate themselves inside my foxglove basket. So those are now poisonous. You can't eat that now. Okay, it's a return to happiness. I love that. New beginnings, good spirits, even respect for loved ones. I love that. I love that. Good luck and joy. Discretion. I love all of that. It helps with hopes of deepening one's spiritual connection and lifting spirits. Okay. It allows us to tap into our third eye chakra. Okay. Is it poisonous? Probably. I love poisonous plants. Oh, they're poisonous. Jesus Christ. Oh, you guys, a portion of my garden will kill you. Don't touch it. Yeah, no, they're poisonous. I figured. That's why I was so drawn to them. Fairies love poison. They do. Foxglove, datura, skullcap, belladonna. I'm just like, drink up, beesies, drink up. Yeah, no. So you just sit back and relax and allow things to work in your favor. The more you try and, do whatever it is you're going to try and force, the more it's not going to work, you know? You know what I'm saying? No, they're purely ornamental. I just like to see if I can grow things. And there's no negative thoughts and emotions that go into well, skullcap's not poisonous, but it doesn't. Oh wait, no. What did I say? Foxglove. I was growing skullcaps because the flowers look super cool. The little emo in me likes it. I like emo stuff. Okay, getting back on track. There's going to be a period where it's going to seem like things are not going to prosper, right? And if you just kind of allow yourself to recalibrate to whatever it is you need to do, you will become prosperous in that. But again, you have to step into a space of personal power. When you're feeling very powerful in your space, you're not trying to force things, you're not trying to force things. And I think that's what's happening is that you're slowly slipping out of your space of personal power. I wonder if what you're going through right now in this period has a lot to do with getting you just right to the edge of like, oh my gosh, only for you to be encouraged to pull yourself back and ride it out a little bit longer. We shall see. We shall see. So this is something that you did not initiate. It is a cycle that's testing you. It's very much testing you, trying to see how much you've learned. So, recently there was this reading and it was about like, you're going to be tested. It's up to you. Your behaviors are going to dictate whether you repeat old cycles. And if you allow it to repeat, it's going to be worse than the first time. This is part of it. This is definitely part of it. Okay. So, and this is not a secret to you. You already know what this is. You're already aware of what circumstance your soul is talking about. If you're going to be like, I don't know what soul is talking about. Yes, you do. If you are in this massive learning opportunity, you already know exactly what situation this is in reference to. And it can be in reference to multiple situations. I know mine is in reference to multiple situations. And I need to just kind of relax. I need to chill out. See, no faith in the process. Here's a reminder that eventually all storms will end, but you have to go beyond normal while the storm is here. So, what if have you guys ever lived in the desert? I've lived in the desert quite a few times. Full on desert, high desert, whatever, all of that. And what I noticed about the desert, chill, grill, and save. You need to chill or you will be grilled. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm saying. Okay, what shoulder exercise is better than the dumbbell lateral raise? Do tell. We're going to watch that after this. We are going to watch that after this. Okay. Going beyond normal. So I've lived in a desert quite a few times. And it's this thing of deserts supposed to like not have any water and all of that. Did you know deserts flash flood? Whenever it rains, it flash floods. Why? Because it actually is massive amounts of water. It's just the landscape doesn't really have a way of retaining it because of the material. So it doesn't soak in as quickly as you'd think it would. Like, oh, it's desert. It's gonna no. It just does this flood thing, right? So I lived in Vegas for a little bit, and when it rains, there's certain parts of Vegas you should not go to because I promise you it's flooded. You won't be able to get through, right? So if you go beyond normal, what I would do is go ahead and this is going to get the video flag. I don't care. I'm a fucking flag shop at this point. They flag everything. This channel is a flag shop. Yeah, no, I would totally rig the roof to be able to, the runoff water from your roof. I would have that collect in a barrel and use it for my garden. I would. There's tons of water that rain down quickly in a desert. This other desert area that we lived in for a little bit as well. Like the streets become rivers within 10, 15 minutes of the rain starting. Not even joking. 10, 15 minutes of the rain starting, major streets are rivers. So you got to go beyond normal. You got to do something where it's like you're recognizing the process that you're in for what it is. A process that can be harnessed. So, okay, you can either look at this as like, oh, Emmy's trying to tell us to catch lightning in a bottle. What would you do with it then? Hello? Come on now. Why would you catch it in a bottle? That's so ridiculous. What I would do is go ahead and create a large lightning rod and connect that to a battery, a series of batteries, supercharged the beach. I would. If I was going to harness lightning, that's what I would do. I would go ahead and use it in such a way where it can be stored and trickle used, like trickle the use of it. Why would you store lightning in a bottle? Why would you do things that will only benefit you short term. That's not how my brain works. I look at any given situation and I look at the short term and the long term benefits, which is more of what I need. There's things where, yes, you absolutely need to see the short term benefit more than the long term benefit. You don't have the luxury of long term for some things. For example, if I'm having a respiratory issue, yes, there are herbal remedies, holistic approaches that you can take to help heal and increase lung function, lung capacity. But if you're in respiratory distress, you better give me the steroids, baby boo. Pump me up with prednisone. I don't give a shit. I want to breathe. I don't have the 3 months for all of that holistic stuff to work. I need to breathe now. See what I'm saying? You have to know when the time and the place is for short-term versus long-term benefit. You have to be able to start using your noggin and making sure your noggin noodles are still functional. I'm saying go beyond normal. See, we've lived our lives, our entire lives, living in layers and levels of just holding things together. Look at all those buttons, just holding things together, right? Holding things together. I'm no longer interested in just holding things together. I'm just not. I'm not. I'm interested in results. I'm very result oriented at this point. I'm not just here to mitigate issues. When you're mitigating an issue, you're not necessarily solving it. You're not necessarily resolving it. You are mitigating the negative impact of that issue. You are trying to reduce the negativity that it experienced because of the issue. That's not enough. It's not enough. So the feels and the thoughts, they're getting intense because they're leading you into a space of truly being uncomfortable to the degree that you're now actively seeking out feasible short-term and long-term solutions. Oh, so it doesn't have to always be either or short-term or long-term. No. Sometimes it can be both, right? It can be both. And I think what you need to probably do is start seeking out solutions that lead to both, where it addresses the short term as well as the long term. Fulvic acid. um, I'm not allowed to say much. Look into the benefits of fulvic acid. It's important. Fulvic acid inhalation. It's important. All right. Softly, softly, the tender touch in reverse. There's a lot of really harsh communication that has gone on, probably within yourself. And I don't know that it's been conducive for you and your healing journey. I don't think it's been a very supportive type of exchange between the self and the soul. If it's been very like, if it's been very, if you've had a very tumultuous relationship between your human self and your higher self, this is the time to begin repairing that. This is the time to really begin repairing that and getting yourself centered within your space. It's neither of those. Yep. Card number 22. She feels, she knows. Look how beat up she is, right? It's like you feel very just beat up by life. Um, you know, and this might not be, I want us to be very careful about assuming that it's always someone else. Always assuming that, oh, she's talking about how someone else is doing wrong to me. And, oftentimes it's us doing wrong to ourselves, because what's happening is we're allowing ourselves to continue to remain in the same environments that give access to the people who have the capacity and the willingness to do wrong to you, right? So you definitely need to look into that. The ways in which you're like banging your own eye so that you have an excuse not to see the reality of what's going on. I think what's happening is this is a major push for those who are ready and willing. This is a very major push towards accessing the next part of your journey. The next part of your journey is a very intense part. And if you're going to allow yourself to recognize the ways in which you are creating more struggle for yourself, you can then begin pinpointing exactly how to resolve the struggles that you're facing, because you'll see which of your behaviors and decisions are continuing that cycle, continuing the same type of results that you don't want. If you don't like what's happening, there needs to be changes that are implemented, not simply continuing to identify that which you don't like, but never implementing any feasible solutions that help you to resolve those issues that you don't like. You know, everything does happen for a reason, and we have to be careful about using that logic as an explanation to continue our passive agreement to let stuff continue. Right? For example, maybe you're in a relationship where you're treated poorly. Maybe it's not being manhandled, but you're treated poorly. They're emotionally unavailable. They're this, they're that. And you think to yourself, well, everything happens for a reason. Right? Seek out the reason, learn what you need to learn, and then implement the solution that you find feasible for the circumstance that you're in. Everything happens for a reason. Maybe they're emotionally unavailable because this is teaching you about you needing and deserving emotional connectedness, that you are someone who feels deeply and needs another to be in partnership with you who also feels just as deeply. Maybe not someone that's exactly like you, but has a capacity to feel as deeply as you do. So what does that mean? You're going to turn the person into a deep feeler when they're not? No, it means that's your time to leave. You've now come to this awareness they are not what you need. And in that awareness of being not what you need, that means you are now aware of what you actually do need. You see how that works? I don't have all the answers. Someone's like, oh my gosh, it's like you have all the, I don't have all the answers. I'm telling you right now, I don't have all the answers. But when you follow things in an intuitively logical way, you have to pair the two together. It's not either or. You have to be logical, but you have to be intuitive about which parts of your logic are most important and most appropriate. There's a time and a place for everything. There really is. Card number 42, the word wants to be written. The word wants to be written. Maybe Michael's already. You're grasping at straws. I didn't even say anything yet. Because you're grasping at straws, don't grasp at straws. You know what? Grasping at straws. I didn't even say anything yet. Put on some lip gloss. Maybe the word that wants to be written is a to-do list by you and for you, right? This list of things that you need to do to get yourself right with yourself. I think a lot of the decisions you make, and this might be mind-blowing for some, triggering for others. I'm going to say it anyways, okay? Maybe you've just gotten so accustomed to making every decision about someone else and how to cater to someone else and please someone else and be found worthy by someone else that you've forgotten how to make decisions for yourself and strictly for yourself. And I'm wondering if that's a large part of the problem that you face, is that you've been living so externalized, you don't even know that you're your own home. That's why you feel homeless. You keep giving yourself away to the very people who don't know how to respect the sanctity of your home. So this includes connections and people who are not romantic with you. Like, I've never really had a habit of allowing just anyone to access my body. Like, I've had boyfriends whose hands I never held because you got your own hands. I don't know. Something's off. You got your own hands. I don't want to hold your hand. Oh, let's be honest. I didn't even consider that a boyfriend. I'm good. There's palm chakras. I don't want to take in any of your caca energy. But at the same time, so I can have a very clear distinction when it comes to that romantic aspect, right? But when it comes to platonic connections, there's a lot of blurring that's occurring where I can openly give access to people who are not worthy of accessing me. And why do I say that? Because it's the truth. Let's be real here. Let's be really honest for once. Fuck social whatever. Throw that out the window, okay? That's programs. That's programs that disrespect your sovereignty and your autonomy. Let's look at this from a very clear perspective. Not everyone is worthy of you. That's a goddamn honest truth. And I'm using very intense, colorful language because this needs to get through. This really needs to get through all of that societal programming that all of us have endured. Not everyone is worthy of you. Romantically, socially, familially, not everyone is worthy of you. I'm going to say it again. Not everyone is worthy of you. And the same applies for you. You are not worthy of everyone. Not always, no. If there's someone who you want to be around and you determine you are not worthy to be around them yet, work on yourself until you're resonating. Until there's resonance. You can't force that. It goes both ways. And what needs to happen is we need to be okay with the knowledge that sometimes people are not worthy of us and sometimes we are not worthy of people, and to be respectful of that awareness. So for those who are like, but that's not fair, I should be allowed. No. Because that's the same thing as being a stalker. That's the same thing. It is the same thing. I've had people tell me like, oh, that's not fair, Emmy. I should be allowed to be part of the community. Not when you're acting like a demon Horita. No. Start your own channel, create your own community. You could be demon Horita all you want. I don't tolerate none of that here. No, I don't. I set the standard for the space that I occupy. I don't go in other people's spaces and start dictating the standards that they should have while I'm in that space. No, that's not what I do. That is not what I do. And that's why I have every right to set the standard for the space that I do occupy, the space that I own, the space that is mine. So people will be like, no, that's not right. Okay. You could have that lovely free thinking thought elsewhere. That's okay. You don't have to agree with me. But that's how it is here. Because last I checked, this is the Emmy evolving space, not the public forum space, and everyone gets to have a say. Everyone does get to have a say, but I'm the final say because this is my space. And that's how you should be in your life. That although you're willing to hear what everyone has to say, at the end of the day, at the end of that conversation, you get the final say of how those words will either be accepted or rejected by you. That's called sovereignty. Be a sovereign. Above all else, be a sovereign. Ooh. Yes. I feel like for a lot of people, cutting family out is the hardest because we're programmed that family first. Blood is thicker than water. It's hard, but you're right. Sometimes they don't deserve you. You know, blood is made of water. And it's thicker because it has a capacity to transport the goodness as well as the bad. In addition to that, when they cut you, that blood becomes a clot, a blockage. So sometimes we got to understand when the blood clots, it's time to address it. Address it by how? Recognizing that even the body will stop the flow when it's detrimental for its homeostasis. When someone removes you from your place of center, you're being removed from homeostasis. Even the body will defend itself. Blood is thicker than water, yes, because it has a capacity to clot. It has clotting factors. When that blood does not serve its purpose, is the person healthy? No, look at sickle cell anemia. When the blood of family does not serve its purpose to nurture you, it makes you unhealthy. Just saying, guys. Not encouraging you to cut off family. I'm encouraging you to think for yourself and make decisions based on your experiences and your knowledge of other people's behaviors. I have a family member who they will be toxic for the rest of their life. That's still a family member. Will they ever have access to me or my children? Never. 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 No. Not after the last time. When I said it was the last time, I meant it. It's the last time. It's the last time. That's it. That's it. I don't need to sit here and, think about all the ways in which my logic is superior and how they are so flawed. And no, all I have to do is make a determination. Are you healthy for me or unhealthy? Unhealthy, you don't belong in my life. I don't need to understand why you're like this. And no, you don't belong in my life. Thank you for showing me beyond the shadow of a doubt that you are very unhealthy for me. And I hope you have an amazing life without me. And that's that. That's that. I'm trying to behave. I'm trying to behave. I'm trying to behave. I'm trying really hard. Be the hunter, not the hunted, but it's in reverse. This is about you not allowing yourself to receive. This is about you not taking accountability for the things you seek, right? No, I do not have a Discord because I struggle with boundaries. It's the truth. Is why I don't open messages, because I struggle with boundaries. People have a tendency to take advantage when they, and I'm not saying you guys will, I'm saying this is part of my history. People have a tendency to take advantage when they have direct access to me. So I don't do any of that. Yeah. All right. We all have pain. We all have sorrow, but it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. I don't know. There's certain things that just irritate me. You know, just like, and I'm trying to remind myself, I'm trying to like totally remind myself that first and foremost, I'm human, and I probably have had periods and still continue to have periods of time and cycles where I exhibit the same behaviors, thought patterns that have a tendency to irk me. So just kind of needing to take a moment to remind myself what it's like to be human, right? Super easy for me to see the root causation of a lot of people's struggles. And it's this very clear need, personal need, to remind that people will process the clarity they receive at different rates, different speeds. Have you guys been finding that you're much less patient lately? That you get irritated much faster? Have you noticed that? That you don't have the patience like how you normally would. There's like it's like an agitating frequency that's running through. It's very low grade. It is, let me see. Let's see. It would be like, what can we hear? Let's see. Ooh. This is not what I'm. Okay. I think the search term was off. Let's see. Huh. It would be somewhere in the range of infrasonics. Infrasonics, not ultrasonic. Infrasonics. I don't know if you guys can feel it. Let me see. Sonic sound effects on humans. Yeah. Inner ear, vertigo, imbalance, intolerable sensations, incapacitation, disorientation, nausea, vomiting, bowel spasm, resonances in ear organs such as the heart, or inner organs such as the heart. Infrasound has been observed to affect the pattern of sleep minutely. Let's see. It can disturb our balance nerve and cause nausea, restlessness, headaches, and tinnitus. Can also cause tiredness and disrupted sleep. Humans can perceive infrasound if the level is sufficiently high. Just outside our range of hearing, 20 hertz infrasound may not be audible, but can still cause physical reactions such as anxiety, uneasiness, and extreme sorrow. You guys feeling any of these things? There are certain types of logic that we need to apply here. I remember one of my friends didn't have a microphone. And so what they did was they made a slight adjustment and they used their speaker as their microphone. Did you know Bluetooth can send signal as well as receive? Did you know that cellular towers can send signals as well as receive? So there's a lot of stuff going on. A lot of energy feedings going on. So feels and thoughts are getting intense. There's a lot of things, a lot of things that we need to begin really considering. Okay. We need to begin really considering the effects that we have been experiencing without taking the time to pause and identify the root causations of the effects. So, with infrasonic sound, it could cause destabilization of the human auric field to the degree of expansion, dilation of the auric pores on your shield. Your auric shield is porous. They're called apartheid filters. And depending on the type of infrasonic, as Michael says, shut up. Well, shit, you get me on the topic and you expect me to. Yo no soy marinero. Yo no soy marinero, soy capitán, soy capitán, soy capitán. Para bailar la bomba. Para bailar la bomba se necesita y arriba. Fuck this shit now. I'm so fucking over it. It's just bullshit. I mean, they're going to flag the video anyways. Who cares? Okay. Ooh. 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 I just get so sick and tired of it. Can I just say, can I speak in general terms? I'm being cleared to say that there is existing studies that you can go ahead and look for. It might be hard to find, but there are existing studies that will show you the effects of sound resonance on the human body, on cells, right? There's evidence of this. There are techniques called sound therapies, Symbi Symbi something. Hold on. Hold, let me see. Uh, oh, I don't know where it is in my. I was sometimes what I do is I just go off on these theories that I have, and I write words down that usually have no type of that usually have no type of meaning until I sit down and have further conversations with Michaela over here. Let me see. Hmm, let's see. Nope. Oh, you know where it is? Hold on. Here, I'm going to find it for you. It's in my notes. Quantum Aromatica. I was going to write a book on quantum Aromatica, but I was told not to. It's too much information. Sometimes I'm like, where was the conversation going with Michael? Focusing on vibration calibration attracts what you fixate on because vibratory dominance creates a magnetic state. I was like, where is that conversation going? I don't know where I put it, you guys. I don't know where I put it. Hold on. Now I'm super curious because it's like, was it in the. Let's see. I'm focused on finding it because I need to at this point. I need to find it. No, that's not it. I think he's hiding it from me on purpose. I think Michael's hiding it from me on purpose. But I'll say this in general terms. Certain frequencies will penetrate to specific depths. Look at cavitation, look at ultrasonic type of work, machinery, technology. Certain frequencies, it's already known, will penetrate to specific depths within the flesh, within any material. If you know what frequencies to use, you could absolutely access specific organs, organ systems, structures within your brain, cranial space, because these specific structures that have specific purposes, they have specific resonance. Each part of your body, not just the limb, but specific parts, it carries with it a specific level of resonance. So if you know what resonance level to use, what frequency to use, you could actually penetrate through the cranial case, your skull, and you can access specific structures in the brain. There's evidence that shows that without having entered the same dwelling structure, certain types of technology exist to initiate a cardiac event, a catastrophic cardiac event. There's other studies that you might be able to find online that shows how specific sound waves can be used to hyperstimulate the amygdala or hypostimulate it. You can affect the retrorubral fields, which are the detector of true tangible threats. You can go ahead and affect the thalamus, hypothalamus. You affect the hypothalamus, the way you recall your memory will be affected. You affect the thalamus, that's the hub. That's what sends the electrotonal signals across the entirety of the cranial case. You go ahead and use certain frequencies, and it will deprive oxygen to certain areas of the brain. I see there's so much information you guys can find. Michael says that's it. Yes, Teresa. Mm-hmm. There are ways to use atmospheric pressure. Yes. And then when you fiddle with atmospheric pressure, you can then also direct that to specific regions of the world that ping at a specific level of harmonics. You calibrate that to such a degree where you're calculating now the trajectory of the ricochet of that frequency and how it will hit other and then ping back down, and you got a widespread dispersion. Everyone should know this. Everyone should have access to this type of information. Everyone should be taught about harmonics, at least to this degree. These are basics. If you're going to be in human form and susceptible to planetary grid interference, manipulation, they're affecting the harmonics of the earth. And due to the laws of reciprocal reflection, whatever exists upon the earth will resonate at the same frequency, distorted or not, that occurs within the earth. It's one of those things. It's the basics. Children should be taught this in school, but they're not. So card number 11, cosmic connection. This ties into a lot of the things that are being done, you know? This definitely ties in, to a lot of things that are probably affecting you right now. The fields and thoughts that are getting intense. You might have resonance with a person, and that resonance is being piggybacked on. You know? Ooh. You became sick because the people from the past are probably organic portal types or full on breached, and they know which pathways you didn't address those pathways. They know what pathways to use to access you, what channels of loyalty and nostalgia that can be used and immediately drain you. If you don't have enough of that life essence circulating through specific layers and levels of your auric field, you'll become much more susceptible to conditions that are a result of energetic depletion, harmonic resonance interference. Then eventually that leads to full-on genetic strand mutations. So it creates miasmic distortion within your auric field that allows for the misfiring and then the miscommunication, which then gets transferred into your field through your fascia from your chakras. Fascia is wrapped around everything. One of my kids is learning about, I believe, the integumentary system. Don't quote me, but he was talking to me about ligaments connect bone to bone, tendons connect muscle to bone, and fascia connects muscle to muscle. Fascia wraps around all of your muscle fibers within a muscle group. It's all throughout your whole body. Once that distortion gets translated from your chakras to your fascia, you then get widespread imbalance is very quickly. It's a quick process, like boom, 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 boom. And then you begin to exhibit symptoms, symptomatic presentation of an energetic circumstance. If you don't address it immediately, um, it then begins to permeate into the actual density of your flesh, which then translates into a full on pathological condition. You then become sick. Oftentimes, if you go ahead and supplement with the type of things that increase specific um, frequency patterns, it will halt that process. You won't go past like sniffles for maybe 2-3 days. It's a science. I figured it out. And so typically that's I follow a specific protocol that I created for myself and my family. And when I see a situation developing, immediately we initiate the protocol for everyone. And typically, maybe 1-2 of us get the symptoms, and it's usually about 2-3 days. If we don't catch it fast enough, then maybe 3 of us will get those symptoms, but we usually will go do the entire protocol for everyone the moment one person shows symptoms. Now, when you become depleted and you don't allow yourself to properly recognize the effects, emotional and whatnot, that someone's presence causes within you. When you suppress that, it then begins to affect your lungs, because your lungs are the organs pertaining to suppression. When you suppress things, when you feel oppressed, and you can go to a holistic practitioner, they'll know about this, that if you go ahead and use too many steroids to suppress things like eczema, which is toxic overload, and your body's getting rid of toxins the fastest way possible through the largest organ, which is your skin. Depending on the region where that eczema is rooted, that's going to tell you exactly which organ system is struggling the most. It typically has to do with the liver, but there's other organs. I mean, the body's so interconnected. It's so interconnected. Um, um, so cosmic connections. There's an attempt to sever the cosmic connection. See the 11? 2 towers side by side. There's 2 types, ultrasonic, infrasonic, and it comes together and mashes in the middle. Where are we located? In the middle. Michael says to let go of the topic. Okay, fine. So we feel like we have no choices, but we actually do. We actually have many, many choices, but most of the choices that are feasible options to extract us from the undesirable circumstances that we're in, they're not options that we prefer. Lack of preference and lack of options are two separate, completely separate things. You still have options, but they're not options that you would prefer. That doesn't mean you don't have options. Okay. So your emotions are part of your self-regulatory system. When your emotions start to get out of whack, you know that there's something in the environment, something in the connection, something in the thoughts that's really causing dysbiosis. Why would you tell me dysbiosis? An imbalance in bacterial composition, changes in bacterial metabolic activities, or changes in bacterial distribution within the gut. Loss of beneficial bacteria, overgrowth of potentially pathogenic bacteria, and 3, loss of overall bacteria diversity. So you're telling me about the gut. I know the food supply is being tampered with. changes in the composition of the intestinal microbiota is a process called dysbiosis. It plays a key role in the pathogenesis of inflammatory diseases such as rheumatoid arthritis. It's a lot of diseases. So why would you use dysbiosis though? Okay, when left untreated, dysbiosis can contribute to illnesses of all kinds, including anxiety, depression, lupus, MS, leaky gut, and diabetes, just to name a few. So while dysbiosis isn't anything to panic about, it's something that you should address. So dysbiosis can definitely lead to those type of things because when your gut microbiome is messed up, it creates an imbalance that leaves you susceptible to xenobiotics entering into your bloodstream. Those are things that don't belong in your bloodstream, which then causes your immune system to become hyperreactive, which then causes you to develop autoimmune conditions. When you develop the autoimmune conditions, it creates widespread systemic inflammation, which then will predispose you to being more susceptible to parasitic infiltration of your system. MS, look up MS. Could you raise your frequency so high that you would not be affected? Yeah, only if you exit out of your physical form. You would have to exit out of your physical form to not be accessible to these types of molecular compaction complications. So, fibromyalgia is full chakra blowout. It's a prolonged, protracted full chakra blowout condition where the frequencies of your chakras have leaked out and have pooled, have been allowed to stagnate, and they're now basically radiating the bands of fascia that are associated with it. So you fix the chakras, you fix the fibro. I know because I had fibromyalgia for like 6 years. Yeah. One of the worst cases, my NP said. I'm like, "How I don't want you to be my pusher. Stop giving me medications. I want to know what's wrong." And yeah, she's just like, "You just have fibromyalgia. You're just gonna have to learn to deal with it." I'm sorry, what? What? You got to be careful with that because, okay, Michael says get back on track. Gratitude. Having zero gratitude for the type of circumstance that you're being presented with. This circumstance you're being presented with is giving you the opportunity for elevations in your learning capacity, in your potentiality. What you do with the potential, elevated or not, is what will determine how this process goes for you. Things are going to continue to escalate, though, whether you want to participate in it or not. Things will continue to escalate. If you want to learn how to heal it, you can go to one of my workshops. I teach about all of this different stuff. The whole being wellness workshop addresses a lot of this. I've learned firsthand about all of the things because I have a very complicated medical history with multi-gene mutations, uh, all sorts of different things, autoimmune conditions, just a whole bunch of different things because the frequency is so high, it's not fully compatible with a physical form. That's why you guys got to be really careful about this concept, this logic that is so readily disseminated across spiritual communities where the goal is to raise your frequency super high. And then what? And then what? My frequency is super high, and that created multi-gene mutations. I have MTHFR multi-gene mutation, which then led to me developing all sorts of other conditions through my lifetime. If your only goal is to be the highest of the high, you're going to have massive physical problems. If you don't understand the concept of whole being wellness and really being able to address your health by way of addressing where your frequency is at and supporting it with the foods that nourish you, with a lifestyle, the changes, mindset, all of that. I mean, let's just say you gave it a valiant effort, but it's not going to affect you in the way that you need it to. It's just not. Like the fibromyalgia, I can easily, very quickly fix that. And when I fix that, you have to maintain it. If you revert back to the same mindsets that led to the blowout of your chakras, you're going to get fibromyalgia back again. You just are. You have to change the different things that lead to it, that lead to those conditions, right? So walk your truth in reverse. This is about really allowing yourself to be aware the ways in which you prevent the progression of your journey. You're not walking down your path. And after a certain point, your soul's going to start dragging you down that path. I mean, it's up to you. No matter what, you're going to get to where you need to be when your soul dictates you to be there, whether it be on your human terms or against your human concept of free will. It's up to you. And for people who don't understand what I mean when I say your human concept of free will, so free will applies to the soul, not to the human. Someone got a hold of these ancient esoteric materials and they didn't understand what the material was discussing because the human brain is only able to process a finite amount of existential type information, esoterica. And so we begin to filter that information through the limited scope of our limited filters, limited capacity to understand. And then we make these assumptions that that's what this means and this is what that means, when in reality, that's not what it means at all. So we're trying to apply celestial concepts that really is speaking about soul, which is several steps down from spirit. And then we try and make it a human thing. And that creates a lot of complications and confusion because it creates entitlement to things you are not entitled to. Why do you think they disseminated the information? That sense of entitlement will fracture your sense of self. It will fracture you. It will fragment your consciousness, and it will further complicate a very simple ascension journey. That's why it's become such a complex thing. It's simple, but complex. It's a complex simplicity because of all of these really poorly translated and just full-on bastardized teachings at this point. They're bastardized teachings. Yeah. I mean, it's a triggering word to hear, but it's the most appropriate descriptive word to use, right? So it creates a sense of lack of hope, right? When you don't walk your truth and you start to get dragged by soul, it creates a loss of hope because now you feel like you don't get a say. Oh, you absolutely get a say. The you, that's the soul, not the you, that's the human. The human, the soul will humor the human for a little bit, right? As it does that, it gives you a sense of being able to pick some of the details of the experience itself. Like, you're going to have to experience this cluster of events by the end of summer. So as the human, you get to pick which day, who will be involved to a certain degree, what you'll be wearing that day, the mood you'll be in as you experience it, what you'll think, the way you'll process it. You get to decide that. But at the end of that experience, your soul has been in control the whole time. So therefore, as an extension of your soul, you are in control to a certain degree, you know? Self-worth in reverse. It's a very convoluted thing. This concept of self-worth as defined by, I guess you could say, psychology buffs, spiritual buffs, you know. I don't know if they're helping you to understand your worth or further complicating your understanding of yourself. It's very simple to me. By virtue of your existence, you have an intrinsic worth that cannot be taken from you or manipulated out of you without your consent. It's a very simple thing to me. I can have a negative opinion of you. It's still merely an opinion. It's just an opinion. It would be so dope if you wrote a book about those things and it was developed into a movie. I don't know that I could write a book. You would have to catch me in conversations with Michael. Yeah. Because, like, I don't even know what I said in the past several minutes that would cause you to feel that it would be dope. Seriously, you know what needs to happen is someone just needs to be part of my life from the time I wake up until I go to sleep. No, the whole day, 24 hours, where they are just recording all day, every day. And I will say things out loud because, like, I wake up from sleep and I be having these really profound dissertations with myself. And it's just like, I don't know. I've never taken a freaking advanced science class. Well, not that I feel it's advanced, but I have this feeling that if I really let go of a lot of my distrust in the information freely given to me by soul, I could solve a lot of the problems for, like, the advanced problems for, like, physics and stuff. You know, my aunt, my mother's sister, so my mother's side of the family has like bordering on savant abilities, right? Savant. Like my mother's, she was basically a savant. And my aunt, so they lived in the Philippines for a long time. And then they decided to immigrate into the United States. She brought all my older cousins. They have a really large family. And my aunt, if I remember right, she's like a professor in the Philippines or something like that. And so when she immigrated to the United States, she wanted to be a professor as well. They're highly educated, extremely intelligent. And they had her take a test. She took the test, like the school board or whatever. I don't remember what grade she was going to teach. I think it was like college level. They had her take a test to see the degree with which she could teach whatever subject it was. And she took the test, and then they accused her of cheating because she solved a problem that no one else was able to solve ever. Right? Like, she solved it, and she was so offended because she was like, "Instead of congratulating me, you're gonna accuse me of cheating?" And they were like, "Well, you can prove it by taking, another test." And she was offended, like so offended by the thought of being accused of impropriety, of cheating. She was like, "F you." And she ended up working at Mervin's instead, folding clothes. And I remember my mom, no, and that's not a bad thing. That's an honorable job still. As my mom was like, I remember I was in the room and she's like, "You're so stupid. Why don't you just take the test again? Tell them to make it harder." And my aunt was just so offended. She was like, "No, just because they're too stupid to solve it doesn't mean I'm going to cheat." I was like, "That's true." I was young. I was maybe like 6 or 7, maybe a little bit older. I don't remember. I was young. I was like in elementary and I was just quietly eating grapes like, "Mhm, mhm." But that's the thing though. Um, when you look at your bloodline, you can see some of your capacity. Like some of my other cousins, they're like scientific nurses, like studies and stuff like that. Everyone's in the medical field basically, or very high degree of accomplishment and the capacity to learn. It runs through the blood. That makes sense. I remember my cousin who's the same age as me. Um, I was 3 or 4. I think I might have been like 3.5, 4 years old. And he was at my grandmother's house and he takes piano lessons. We're the same age. I'm older than him by like 2 months. And he was taking piano lessons, which he sucked at. And for the first time, I happened to be there when the piano teacher came. And I was just standing there watching, looking, listening to her. And then the lesson was over. I didn't say a word. The lesson was over, and he didn't want to practice piano. He got in big trouble. And then, of course, because he was super naughty, right? Super naughty. Um, he got off the piano. He didn't want to play it. I think he got spanked or something. He didn't want to play anymore. And his mom was like, you have to practice. And so he started crying. He got spanked. She left the room. She's like, I better hear you practicing. And so he got off the piano because he didn't care. He already got spanked. And so I sat there and I remembered everything he played, and I played it all. And she goes, see, that's good. She didn't know it was me playing the piano. Yeah, it's almost this thing of sometimes certain bloodlines. It's not all bloodlines, but sometimes certain bloodlines has a dormant code that goes active at certain times, right? In certain generations, it'll go active where you can actively pull through the bloodline, even from people who are still living, as long as you, okay, Michael said that's too much. There's so much information I would love to share with you guys. There's so much. If you guys were allowed to share a comparable understanding that I have developed over my life of the way bloodlines and etheric codes and morphogenetic templates actually function, the world would be so different. It would be so different. A lot of the things they allow you to learn are intended to program you to the degree that you will not accept the truth once you're exposed to it. This is why I'm not allowed to be instructed by a professional instructor. This is why everything I know I've taught myself. They program you in such a way that you will hold on to the half truth with bloody fingernails. You know? I can't share much, village baby. I can't share much. Notice how many times I've been stopped in the middle of talking just in this live stream. Be fearless in your approach, right? Be very, very fearless. And in that fearlessness, you have to have less fear than you do courage. You don't have to be devoid of fear completely in order to continue a forward progression. You just have to have less fear than you do courage. Or, in a more positive, empowering way to put it, you have to have more courage than you do fear, right? You also have to let yourself become very, very still so that you can receive the messages from soul that are not distorted. That's part of why the infrasonic frequencies are being run. Too many of us are developing direct connection. It's being reestablished, a direct connection to divinity itself. And they need, because we're being given tremendous downloads, they need to continuously disrupt the transmission, cause breaks in that, and that will effectively disrupt the organic processing of information. One of the techniques, and it was a very efficient technique, I was watching the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trial, and her pathology was just intense, like, boo, damn. That's how your brain functions. But one of the most effective most effective techniques that I was witnessing in real time was that Johnny Depp's legal team, I forget the name of the female on female, that's yeah, that totally negated everything. If it was a male that was doing this, she would have succeeded. Amber Heard would have succeeded in this fictitious type of narrative she was creating. Um, and speculation on my part, because I look at her and I'm like, you're a lying asshole. I'm not a Johnny Depp fan either. I was just curious. But what the female attorney was doing was, as she's ramping up, and projecting this distortion frequency through the entire courtroom, she would interrupt her. She would interrupt her. Like, Miss Heard, that's not what I asked. She's like, and then I was just so scared. Miss Heard, that's not what I asked. Can you please answer the question that I asked? So it kept disrupting the flow. That is such an effective way to halt the entire process, because then she has to reset, right? She's like I wasn't done with my story, right? So she has to reset and she has to try and accrue enough energy again to begin that disruption of the juror's thought process. And I'm just like, this girl's gonna lose. She can't fully execute her game plan because of the fact that it keeps being disrupted. She needed it to be unchallenged in order for it to possibly work, but it kept being disrupted. Yeah, she couldn't get into her lie good. So that can also be done for the truth, right? You see, if you go look back at the earlier parts of this video alone, I'm getting all the downloads, and I'm speaking openly, freely, and then boop, stop. Yeah. Of course, I have to stop. And then it's again, download, speaking freely, boop, stop. To the point where I don't even know what the hell I was talking about earlier. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. If you were to ask me about, so what were you talking about? It, fuck if I know. Well, what did I say? Jog my memory a little bit. Yeah, I literally, I have no idea what I was talking about. Auras? No, it's not it. Auric fields? Something about that. Auric fields. Sacred journey. The path of soul is not linear. It's never been linear. It's not linear, and it's not going to be something that can be easily tracked if you are not participating in the programs that have been set forth by the system regulators of this time-space matrix. It sounds kooky and everything, but I'm talking about government. They're the regulators of the system. Yep. So let go in reverse. That means you need to hold on. What do you need to hold on to? We're about to find out. We're about to find out. There's something that needs to be held on to, right? The feels and thoughts are getting intense. Let's see. Okay, this doesn't have to do about a soul journey like forward progression. I believe this has to do with addressing the lack of morphogenesis that's happening, right? So you're supposed to go through metamorphosis. You're supposed to be in a space of isolation for a small period, and then you're supposed to break the shell, right? The chrysalis is not soft. It's hard. It protects the butterfly as it's going through the process of becoming a butterfly. In order to become a butterfly, it has to first completely destroy itself and cease being a caterpillar. No one ever asked the caterpillar the pain it went through to become the butterfly. What it had to let go of. It let go of its entire life and existence, the only thing it knew how to do. It had to let that go, be starved for a period, be left alone for a period. Be left completely separate from its environment for a period. Be dangling by a string for a period. You're experiencing all of these things right now and you're thinking it's so bad, but in reality, what if you're simply beginning to understand the process the caterpillar went through to become the butterfly it was always destined to be? You're dangling by a string? Welcome to your awareness of your metamorphosis. Hold on. Morphogenesis is defined in biology as the origin and development of morphological characteristics. In geology, it's the formation of landforms or other structures. Morphogenesis is a biological process that causes a tissue or organ to develop its shape by controlling the spatial distribution of cells during embryonic development. It's a repatterning. It's a physical expression of scalar wave repatterning. It's a step down. It's one of three fundamental aspects of developmental biology, along with the control of tissue growth and patterning of cellular differentiation. Patterning of standing scalar waves is what determines your reality as you know your reality to be. And it is a physical representation of that. And that is all I'm allowed to talk about. I'm really sick and tired of you. Can like you create a project where I can just super freely talk about all of this stuff uninterrupted. No cares in the world. Just talk my heart out ad nauseum about any given topic. I don't even care what the topic is. Just create a project like that. Like that. Talking to Michael here. Because you constantly interrupting me is irritating me. You're irritating me. You're like a fucking hemorrhoid. That's what you are. Yes. You're in anal condition. He's like a hemorrhoid. Yes. Yes. Find me some preparation H so that I could be relieved of you. Innocence in reverse. You're not innocent. You're not unaware of the process that you're in. You choose to view things in a way that causes you to feel unaware, causes you to be in a space of mal-prepared. You can resolve that. It's going to take some effort to shift the perception that leads to that type of behavioral patterning, but you can shift that. I mean, okay, you think you can't. How has your life changed since you've been here with me? Your life has changed, no? Or maybe, maybe you come for the shits and giggles because I mess around a lot. Maybe you haven't, okay. Major transformation, notification from Minopond. If you guys go watch Minopond, say Emmy Evolving says hi. I don't know who he is. I don't know who he is, but he's the only tarot person I get notifications from. I haven't been able to watch any of his videos in a long time. Just been super busy, but I do appreciate his work. So if you do watch Minopond Tarot, just comment there. Emmy Evolving says hi. She's a fan. I'm not ashamed. I think he's hilarious. His name is Chris. Tell Chris I said hi. No, don't. Maybe you shouldn't do that because then he might think I'm like trying to flirt with him. I don't know. But there was resonance because one time he was like, he's a hobbit. And I was like, oh my God, I'm a hobbit too. And turns out he's like, I think, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes later, he's like, yeah, no, I'm 6 foot. Motherfucker, that's not a hobbit. That's not a hobbit. Yeah. And I was just like, ew. So, okay. I got his notification. It says major transformation. And then the notification after that says, is it really time to reconsider? Is it time to reconsider? 4 signs it's not working out. Ooh. solutions are crucial. I'm saying, those are from my emails. Let's see what else he says. Stepping out of the shadows. This should make you proud of yourself. I'm saying, you know, I'm saying. He has a cat placement too. He totally has a Pisces sarcasm. Boo, how do you know so much about this guy? Is this stuff that he shares? Okay. I'm just, I don't want it to seem like I'm trying to gather intel. I don't want to seem like I'm trying to gather intel. He's not like, I love that his notifications often serve as confirmation of messages that I'm receiving from soul. So we're just going to move forward. We're going to move forward. I'm so paranoid that people are just like, I don't want anyone thinking that I'm trying to gather info on them. That's just, yeah, I'm going to leave that alone. That's definitely an insecurity I need to work on about myself. That's why I don't go on other people's profiles, because I'm like, oh my God, they might feel me going on their profile and they're gonna be like, oh, she's trying to get information on me. And it's like, no, probably because I feel other people doing that to me, going on my profile, trying to get information about me. I'll be knowing. No, I try and ignore it. I do. I try and ignore it. So judgment in reverse. You're not making solid judgments for yourself. I think it has to do with this thing of like trying to convince yourself that you don't know. You know what I mean? You don't know something. I mean, but you do know. You do very much know. But what do you know? What are you pretending you don't know? What message? What message from soul are you trying to like block? There's parts of you that are being awakened. These parts require observation. And because of this dark interference, it's parasitic in nature. You're not being able to properly observe the parts that need further cultivation within you. Excuse me. That's to intentionally block your abundance. And once that abundance is blocked, what ends up happening is, oh no, I think this was upright. You're going to need to go through a space of trying to heal that. The longer you allow a condition to penetrate through, the more effort it's going to take to heal that. It's like the equivalent of a malignant growth being addressed at 1 centimeter diameter versus being addressed at 10 centimeters diameter and having metastasized, spread through the rest of the body. Like that's now a fucking situation, a bad situation. So, for that to come out as the example, is there a toxicity that you're being distracted from addressing to give it ample time to spread through your systems? Ooh, the amount of attempts of parasitic infiltration has been freaking insane during this period. In fucking sane. I'm telling you, don't get me started on parasitic shit. I'm telling you, oh my God. Don't get me started on that. Card number 3. Get back on track, girl. Okay. Card number 3, Mercury mind. If you want to tell people the truth, make them laugh. Otherwise, they'll kill you. Why does Emmy mess around all the time? Quote, if you want to tell people the truth, make them laugh. Otherwise, they'll kill you. End quote. Oscar Wilde. Okay. Mercury, the planet of intelligence and talking, is the closest planet to the sun, also making it the fastest planet to move through the zodiac. Truth can move quickly if you allow yourself to identify it as such. Okay, this card suggests you must put effort behind your talk. Mercury and his counterparts also have very much to do with magic and medicine. Okay. Okay. When the energy seems to be flowing one way, Mercury changes the direction. Might we add, Mercury is spontaneous and insanely flexible. Mercury is the wisdom and the stupidity found in intelligence when it's not connected to the heart or the feelings. So there's a connection that's needing to take place. Remember, let me find the card. We're almost there, you guys. We're almost there. The connection between the heart and the mind. It needs to be tempered in the throat, which allows for compassionate communication. Okay. Mercury maximizes the imagination, but can also symbolize the liar when it comes to double talk with mixed meanings. You got to be careful about having a liar in your midst. If you think that a liar only lies to everyone else, I would think the liar has grievously affected you because they've encouraged you to lie to yourself. It's the planet of gaslighting, causing purposeful confusion in the minds of others to gain something not really deserved. Woo! Do you guys feel that energy? I read this. It's the planet of gaslighting, causing purposeful confusion in the minds of others to gain something not really well deserved. And it's this sense of quite a bit of parasitic attempt to cause you to feel as though your process is a process that's leading you further away from your truth and further away from your integrity. I don't think you should do that. I don't think you should do that. I don't think you should enter into a space of trying to convince yourself that, oh, maybe you misunderstood, maybe you this, maybe you that. Stop. Just stop. Let's see. I just got to know my schedule today. Yes. Okay. Okay. So here goes. When the Mercury card presents itself in a reading, it's time to use all of your mental faculties to get your point across. You have to really assess what's happening. There's an attempt to get over on you some way, somehow. Be careful about paranoia creeping up on you. Be careful of your innate distrust because of the way the system has been experienced by you. There might be something happening in your life right now that is exploiting this aspect of your character. It's not that you have trust issues. It's not that you have to trust everything and everyone. It's that you have to know when your hyper awareness of the potentiality of betrayal is being very much hyper stimulated by something parasitic to prevent you from the connections that are necessary. Ooh, that's a mouthful. It may mark a period where you either have to talk your way out of something or talk your way into something, right? Whatever the reason or occurrence, how you communicate through writing or speaking is of utmost importance here. Composition, writing, or editing may figure in. So you have to be careful about how you allow yourself to respond to certain types of situations. Yes, there are certain things that need to be communicated, but they have to be communicated in a way that will help to further support whatever your objective is. I'm not saying, because there are some people who are dishonorable, right? And they're going to hear that and they're going to be like, oh, so I just got to find a way to like make it happen. No, I'm talking about using truth and honesty when it is the most appropriate time. That just because it's a truth and it's honest does not mean you're supposed to say it right here, right now, using those specific words. Sometimes it means holding back some of that information and only sharing a very carefully selected tidbit so that you can introduce the need for a specific type of conversation slightly later on. Mm. Mhm. Okay. So beware of gossip and other scandals. The important thing to remember is that what you say in this situation can and will be used against you. It can and will be used against you. So choose your words wisely. You can expect to see fast developments. Once you get yourself properly calibrated, properly aligned, you can see fast developments occur. Regarding romance or relationships, it can mean that friendship is the best option for you now. The time has not yet ripened to enter a relationship with a person. Let's see. Um, Ooh, you may become involved with someone who double talks, is witty, but who does not emotionally connect. Ooh. Okay. Don't mistake their wittiness and charm for evidence of deep connectivity with them. Okay. Like, for example, for example, um, I'm totally I'm totally a person who, when we're having private conversation, I like to make people feel very, very comfortable. And I like to give them the opportunity to speak very openly with me regarding whatever they um, want or need to speak about. And that's just who I've always been. That's the person that I am. That when we engage in conversation, um, I'm just like that. That's who I am. And I'm not going to tell you things that are super nice just to make you feel good because yeah, I'm not like that. I'm not. You know, people get offended by that, but it's just too fucking bad because I'm not like that. I'm not fictitiously complimentary to others, right? Like, girl, if that hair don't look good on you and you ask me, I'd be like, you know what? One hairstyle I really liked on you, it was blah, blah, blah. This one I don't think showcases your features as well as the other one. Right. And of course, I'm going to feel bad. I'm going to be like, I hope that's okay. I don't want to offend you. I hope that's okay. I don't want to lie to you either. Like, this is not the best hairstyle I've seen on you. It's probably not the worst, but it's not the best either. And then people will often take the way that I am, which is, I like to make you feel comfortable, but still be honest with you. And they'll turn it into something else. They'll turn it into something else. And they'll make it into this whole, like, I knew it. Oof, I knew it. Emmy and I are twins. She's just been with her husband waiting for me. And now that I'm here, he can just go. Where the fuck did you get that? Seriously, where did you get that from? What fucking demon has been wet willying your ear telling you this bullshit? Because that is not what I said or implied at all. People do that to me quite a bit. I'm just like, what? What? What did I say? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It's just some crazy shit, right? It's just some crazy ass shit. So, like, don't make up a whole story. Like, for me personally, back in another lifetime, I've been with my husband for I think 24, 25 years. I don't know. I'm not counting. I'm not counting. I fucking love the guy. I just fucking love him. I don't give a shit how many years. I love him. That's all that matters to me. So I've been with him more than half my life at this point. And before he came into my life, I vaguely remember the world of dating, and it doesn't matter if you be calling me your boo and you call me all the time and you text me all the time and we are together all day all night and you wait for me to get off of work and you pick me up and you drop me off, and I don't care. Once it gets to a point where, okay, now I'm starting to take you serious, I'm going to ask you point blank, like, what am I to you? Because I don't know. And I've had people tell me, like, "What do you mean, what are you to me? Like, you don't know?" "No, I don't." "I'm with you all the time." "Right. So that tells me you enjoy my company, but it doesn't tell me, like, what you categorize me as. I don't need you to ask me to be your girlfriend. Like, I need to understand because I don't understand. I'm not gonna make an assumption. I don't understand what light you see me through, what lens you're using to view me. Because for me, I can enjoy someone's company and be with them all day and not see them in a romantic way. When I was 19, I think that's when I think I was 19 when I was working security, and one of the guys on security became like my total BFF, right? So we literally worked the same shift. Mhm. And we also took all our classes together in junior college. And then we would hang out afterwards because he was my BFF. We're like the same size. Sorry. Sorry, mofo. We are the same size. We're the same height. We're the same size. We could share clothes and shoes. And I totally just, he's like my BFF, right? That's how I saw it. He'd pick me up first thing in the morning. I think like 7 in the morning, he would pick me up. We'd go to our classes for several hours. Every single class, we were together. And then we had an hour for lunch. And then we would go to work. And then after work, I mean, you want to unwind. So sometimes we would hang out or we would go eat out with his friends or I'd bring my friends. And we were just always together, literally. There was only maybe 6 hours or so between the time I would go home and the time I would see him again in the morning. And this went on for months. And I was like, this motherfucker's my BFF. What's up, motherfucker? And I like, yeah, it's just you're my BFF. We vibe. And then one day, the day he stopped being my BFF, we were eating at, and I still remember this. We were eating at Red Robin because we love to eat Red Robin. We love to have burgers before we go to work. And so you called me by my badge number. He's like, 17, I love you. And I was like, oh, I love you too, motherfucker. I love you too. Thank you. And I kept eating my burger and he's like, no, I'm serious. And I was like, I'm serious too. You're like my BFF. I'm serious. And he's like, no, like I love you. And I was like, thank you. Thank you. What do you want me to say? And he's like, do you understand what I'm saying? And I was like, no. Like, we're best friends, right? What do you mean? Like, I don't get it. I literally didn't get it. I wasn't trying to joke around. I literally did not get it. Like, you mean like friendship love, right? And then he even called the waiter over or the waitress over. And he's like, I just told her. And I was like, you're saying it like I'm being rude. I said thank you. And then what do you want me to say? Like, why would you say that? And I'm in the middle of talking about like the trauma I just experienced at the abrupt ending of the relationship that I just like, why would you say that? And it was weird after that. And then we weren't friends anymore after that because then he didn't want to be around me. I was like, bro, we got all our classes at the same time. Like, you're going to see me regardless. And we work together. Like, I don't know. I don't know. She said you dodged a cannonball. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I guess I've never okay, people are going to take this the wrong way. Let me just keep my mouth shut. Would just say he had I assume, looking back, I see clearly he had a confidence that he had really worked on. He had really worked on this confidence, and it was very deeply rooted in the fact that he successfully, completed boot camp for the Marines, and he'd been deployed and all of this stuff. And it's just, yeah, you can't assume things. You can't assume things. You can't. What that conversation should have been was, hey, can I ask you, what am I to you? And I would have been like, oh, you're my BFF. And that would have been that. And you would have known that, okay, this is where I stand. So I just really shouldn't cross that line. So you have to allow yourself to like find the courage to just flat out ask where you stand. Like, okay, what am I to you? Before you start making assumptions. I saw a video of a guy talking about how girls assume that some dude is now your boyfriend because, he takes you out and you guys are seen in public together and you guys eat out together rather than always being at home. Excuse me, getting takeout and this and that. But he never once asked you to be his girlfriend. And then you get pissed off thinking that now he's exclusive with you. And then you find out he's doing the same thing with other women. That doesn't necessarily make him a player. That makes him single, which has he expressed to you, verbally expressed to you, his desire for a monogamous connection with you. You can't assume those kind of things. You cannot assume those kind of things. So you can apply this also for your business connections. You assume that someone is in alignment with your business objectives, your business goals, and you think that they are they're wanting the same things as you and want to partner with you, when in reality they're just getting information from you, right? They're being extra nice in order to be able to get the benefits from you. And that there is a wiggly ground that you're starting to approach, this destabilized space that might be like quicksand, where at first it seems solid and stable. But as your movement slows down, because now you're needing to put in more time and effort to build things that you think is mutually beneficial, the sand starts to give way, because in reality, they were just looking for the benefit. And, it's like you have to be aware that there are those who at first, especially in business, they will seem as though it could be a mutually beneficial connection where there's an opportunity maybe like to barter services, just a mutually beneficial exchange, right? But in reality, when you're taking a step back and you really assess, all of the ways in which they've helped other people has actually just fed their ego. So they weren't helping because they have a genuine desire to help like you. Be careful of seeing your heart and integrity in someone else, right? That when they see that you are actually placed higher than them, they'll begin to climb on you in order to reach the same level as you. And when they see that there's more to reach, they'll then use you as a stepping stone to get to the next part and the next part and the next part. So just be very, very careful, because it says you may become involved with someone who double talks, is witty, but also who does not emotionally connect. In a business setting, social setting, completely different. For me personally, social setting, I don't like to look people in the eyes. It's uncomfortable unless I'm very comfortable with you. I will not make direct eye contact. I will definitely look away and it will be awkward. Business setting, I will very intensely look you down to the depths of your soul, and I will not break eye contact with you. As long as you're talking, I'm staring at your face and your eyes very intensely, not trying to intimidate you, but taking in everything you're saying and everything you're not saying. And I probably won't even blink. And if in a business setting, you can't look me in the eyes and I feel your energy, you are evading in some way, I'm going to get real quiet and kind of just sit back a little bit. And I'm going to let you have the opportunity in the space to become so comfortable that you are going to tell on yourself. I might not make sense of it right away, but eventually I will. Yep. Yes, yes, yes to this. Yes, yes, yes to this. You just have to be very discerning, be mindful, be very discerning. And sometimes these are things that are encouraged to develop because you're so giving. I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm saying this is a perfect opportunity to see the ways in which your behavior contributes to the development of this or that. And that way you can kind of pull back. Like I'm noticing that sometimes when I pay too close attention, I'm too complimentary or too, encouraging for someone, maybe privately, sometimes publicly, it can begin to develop into a potentiality of that person becoming very severely breached by a parasite, all because now they're like, oh, I think I'm the shit. Well, that's not what I was saying. I'm saying, like, you're skilled, you have gifts, there's value to you, which I believe that. I'm not just trying to blow smoke up your ass, but some people can't take a compliment. I'm serious. Some people just can't take a compliment. They see it as like, oh, now she's admitting I'm more powerful. It's like, well, I mean, if you need to believe that, you go ahead. What you think about your power and yourself and using me as a barometer for that, that's on you. Doesn't affect me none. But the moment your toxic process begins to affect me, you need to be out. You need to be out. But now I'm learning to better calibrate that by not even allowing it to get to that point where when I begin to sense that, I'm going to just pull back a little bit. And, I will still have the same opinions of you have the skills, you have the gifts, you're a gift to others. But I'm not going to be as vocal about it anymore so that I can get right with myself, right? Because I can't keep going through that type of situation where I just want to love on others so badly and encourage and all of that to the degree that it becomes something toxic for them, where it holds such a sacred, safe space for toxicity to become empowered. I'm realizing that for some of us who are empaths, we have the capacity to do something like that. And we need to be careful. Okay. We need to be very mindful of the ways in which we create opportunity for toxicity to flourish. Right. So that's a very powerful message. This is also the card of brothers and sisters as well as twins. Now marks a period which involves observation, reasoning, taking things apart and putting them back together as they were or in your own order. It's a time of highly flighty emotions and matters developing quickly. So, codes and forms of magic may also figure in. The matter in question is best served by using intellect, weighing the matter, being reasonable, and also being spontaneous in your responses. Okay. Mercury brings on keen awareness, so use your mind and what you know to the fullest in this matter. Use your mind and what you know to the fullest, right? Let's see. Let us see the next card. I got to get going. Yod, Destiny. That was so blah. Card number 48, Yod, Destiny. A person often meets his destiny on the road he took to avoid it. So, regardless of how you try and avoid the intense lessons that are coming, they're coming. Regardless, they are coming. Okay, this card is about finding your own truth, even though the truth may not be reflected through others. So maybe this is about seeking other people, divulging information to that person to try and get a better perspective on something. This is what I've learned. Just because someone has a degree in something doesn't mean they're an expert in that field. I'm just saying. It doesn't mean they're going to be some type of authority that can give you a better perspective on something only you have the capacity and the destiny to understand. Like, for example, if you have a friend or okay. I know where this is going. Speaking in hypothetical terms. For example, if you know someone, regardless of how or why you know them, you know someone who has a degree or is a therapist, right? So you're going to go to them for advice because you got to be smart to become a therapist. I mean, what's your definition of smart? Now, I'm not talking about all therapists. I'm just saying, what's your definition of smart? Because to become a therapist, you just have to be able to pass the program. And typically, programs are designed to teach you through rote memorization, not necessarily the application of the information you've acquired. So, with that said, not all therapists are equal. They are not all equally skilled, equally cognitive or aware of the different complexities that cause conditions to develop, complications to arise. You're going to this person who might be very successful in their field, but for the subject matter that you're going to them for advice, they have no idea. They have no idea. Like, I remember there was this person that I knew, and their best friend is a lawyer, and they're a real estate lawyer. And I was having this question regarding probate, regarding estate laws, not real estate, but estate, and also questions regarding conservatorship, power of attorney, things like that. And this person was like, "Oh, you should talk to my friend. He's an attorney." I'm like, "What type?" Like, "He's an attorney." I know, but what's his specialty? I'm not going to go to a neurosurgeon for a cardiac issue. They're not the same. They're so not the same. For example, when my mother was in the hospital, she kept having brain bleeds. She kept having strokes. They're like, "Okay, we need to do an exploratory procedure. We need to use contrast dyes, and we want to explore with the contrast dyes using an MRI." And my mother had early stage of kidney failure. They were like, it might be the heart issue. We don't know. So the neurologist says it's perfectly safe to use a contrast dye. Let's go for it. The cardiologist says it's perfectly safe. It's not going to affect her heart. Let's go for it. I'm like, y'all motherfuckers, what does the nephrologist say? I don't give a shit what you say. You're not a nephrologist. Brought the nephrologist and they're like, oh, no, 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 we can't have that. That will affect her kidneys. And I was like, thank you. And, I had a family member who's not medical at all. They're like, yeah, no, just have her hooked up to dialysis while they do this. And I was like, you can't do that. They're like, no, it's fine. It'll filter it out. I was like, you don't understand. That will bottom out her vitals. That's very, very hard on someone's body when you go through dialysis. And there's no evidence that shows dialysis will help to protect or prevent hepatic failure when exposed to radioactive dye. I spoke with the nephrologist and I was like, what are the potential side effects? What is the risk and all of this? And he was like, this is, I'm not going to sign off on this. I was like, thank you. I went back to the neurologist and I was like, how will this exploratory procedure affect the development of your treatment plan? They're like, it won't. It will just confirm. I'm like, oh, so you're doing it for your ego. You just want confirmation of what you're hypothesizing. He couldn't say shit. I'm like, no, I'm not signing off on this. As a family member, I am very concerned about the welfare of my mother. We're going to need a patient advocate or a full-on ombudsman in this room before we sign off on any of this. They didn't do the procedure. I was like, are you going to take medical responsibility for hepatic failure? Not hepatic, kidney failure. Hepatic is the liver. Kidney failure. They're like, I'm not going to. Okay, exactly. So you have to be aware that sometimes the people who you go to because you think they're smart in the field, that you might not be going to the right person. You might be exposing yourself to more distorted belief structures that will further complicate whatever it is you're having to deal with. I think the best thing to do is just deal with it. Yod configuration is influential and implies that there is a disruptive force at work. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? It's like, I already knew. I don't have these cards memorized. That's why I have the book. Yeah, no, there is a Let me get the card. 1 second. Un momento. Yeah. Dark interference. It all ties together. The feels and thoughts are getting intense, and you're seeking a way to absolve yourself of this experience, to absolve yourself of the awareness, a very keen awareness of the ways in which your decisions have caused a compounding of the struggles. You're not going to absolve yourself of this. You need to face it head on. I'm just saying. In a sense, this astrological placement of planets is somewhat in exile from the other planetary energies because they are not harmonious with each other and therefore cause tension. So why would I go to Jane regarding Denise for advice about how I should proceed with Denise when Jane does not like Denise and Denise does not like Jane? Jane has no idea how Denise functions and can therefore provide zero credible type of information or input regarding Denise. They don't even like each other. That's nonsensical. This can bring about feelings of intense stress and restriction. There can also be a sense of being different, feeling alone, and of being out of step with others at times. It can indicate being the black sheep of the family. When the Yod card presents itself in a reading, it means that the situation may be chaotic or may soon turn that way. It will be hard to see any clear path because of this chaos, but it will be important to weather through it all. This is not always bad because it's a process of finding what works and what isn't functioning. And now will be the time to be scaling things down and weeding out what is unnecessary. So needing to weed things out, right? The unnecessary. You know, it's not to say that whoever this is has bad intentions. Is to say they are poorly matched to provide you an answer for a question they don't understand, don't have the experience to properly understand, right? Let's see. You may wish for more support when this card comes up, and will have to manage this all on your own. This is your thing to deal with. Another development may turn up, and that is you will prefer to work it out on your own without any interference from others. Yeah, you need to. You need to. This card can denote a time to voyage inward and come to your own truth. There really isn't anyone who will have the tools to figure this out more so than you at this time. So now may not be the best time to take advice from others. Your inner knowing has it already. You just have to take the time to process the information to come to your own answers. When this card comes up, there will be health issues. Let me just here, read it. Pause and read, okay? There. Okay? Just read that. I'm moving forward. Has to do with destiny, doing things on your own, standing strong and making a difference. Final card number 27. Okay. Third house messages. Card number 27. You must stay drunk on writing so reality cannot destroy you. Ooh, words have power. Now is the time to get your point across. When you don't use your words, you don't use your power. With this card, you may also get a clearer direction in the way to proceed. The third house also represents neighborhoods and siblings. Sometimes it represents etheric siblings. This is the area of the chart that reveals how we think, speak, and communicate. Let's see, what's my third house? What's in my third house? I don't even know how the fuck to word that. let's look. Mm-hmm. Where are you? Okay, here. No, just go back. No, don't resubmit. Hold on. I gotta find, I had it somewhere. Did I close it? I probably closed it. Okay. Okay. Oh my gosh. Hold on, guys. Oh my gosh. Okay. So let us see. I just want the quick chart. What is going on here? Okay. That's 9th house, 7th house, 8th house. What does this mean? Hold on. Okay. Ooh. I don't know how to read this. It's a tangled mess. It's a tangled mess. You are extremely sensitive to the emotional environment and atmosphere around you. I am. You wear your feelings on your face. I do. Okay. Where is the chart? What is going on here? Oh, I just needed to scroll up. You know what? I give up. It's just astrology's stupid anyways. Okay, the third house is the area of the astrological chart that reveals how we think, speak, and communicate. It signifies our need to know and demonstrate how we put our concepts and thoughts into words. You are in search of answers and in need of unlocking mysteries, but your mind is agile and you are able to grasp every detail right now. So just look, you know what I mean? Really, all Pisces, third house is Gemini? Let's look. I'm just going to look here on the laptop. Girl, keep your face in check. Your face in check. Okay, give me 1 second because now I got to figure this out. Okay. I'm noticing I'm needing to scroll quite a bit to get to my year of birth. It's kind of hurting my feelings a little bit much. Um do 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 do. Okay. Ah, enter a name. Fine. There you go. Um, wait. Okay. Here. I should just download this. Okay. Where is the effing chart? Oh, here. No. What? Um, did they change this? Okay. Okay. Okay, my third house broke because I have Saturn in the third house and it says they're usually serious and orderly. Ooh, Saturn in the third house also brings jealousy from the brother, sister, or cousin. Let me stop. Okay, what does it mean though? Yeah, so that doesn't make sense because okay, the other side of me is very serious and orderly, right? Okay. And you know what? I don't even know what that means. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. I might have to look into that more. Let's see. Okay. The third house also represents dexterity, swiftness, curiosity, and figuring out the mechanisms of what make things work. So this could mean expressing yourself about something rather technical. I was trying, but Michael was being a hater. This is a house of the mind. It's about giving and receiving information. When this card turns up in a reading, there's a need to uncover all that you can and relate the information to others. Also, an area of commerce and sales, when the third house card presents itself in a reading, it can indicate a time of buying and selling and becoming involved in retail or transactions made over the internet. So, issues dealing with siblings may come up. Ugh. There may be questions you must resolve to do with brothers or sisters. Your neighborhood may even be going through some changes. Also signifies your neighborhood, so expect events that will make a difference there. For more in-depth information, look at the surrounding cards. Um, it might indicate secretive actions carried out, perhaps meetings or even vandalism or burglaries or possibilities. Okay. This card also means you'll be talking your way into and out of tough situations. However, you will be mentally able to grapple with issues and sort them out well. Important documents and other paperwork are indicated. This isn't your everyday type of paper shuffling. The matter will be more significant than usual. Ooh. This card may also indicate a fortunate time to start a business of your own, perhaps working in translation, creating software, or something to do with deciphering codes and messages, for example. Did you know I'm listed in the Apple App Store? I'm weird. I went through the process of becoming listed as an app developer on the Apple Store. And I was going to teach myself how to code apps. You guys, sometimes my husband's like, when are you going to have time to do that? Never. Eventually, I don't know. Ooh. Something to do with deciphering codes and messages. I'm saying there's hidden codes in this reading. Relaxation is suggested when this card presents itself. Ooh. Your thoughts are likely inspired ones, and you could be having psychic or mediumistic communications. Signing documents. Rumors. Okay. Bargains. Commercial transactions. Signing of contracts. Intelligence. Hand-to-eye coordination. I'm saying the possibilities could be positive and negative. It doesn't have to be or. It really depends on how you handle this situation, how you move through this period. If you allow yourself to move freely through this period, you're going to be perfectly fine. If you allow yourself to listen to communications from soul, you're going to be perfectly fine. Yeah. Move carefully through this period, though. Okay. Feels and thoughts are getting intense. Let it get intense in a beneficial way. Don't cultivate intensity because I think that's going to backfire. If you let it get intense in a beneficial way, which you're not going to be controlling that, you're just going to allow the movement. Whoa, let go. Oops. You're going to just allow things to kind of progress in whatever way your soul has already determined is best. And then flowing through that with minimal resistance, minimal interference, minimal bringing in of people who have no idea what the hell they're talking about. Because this is your circumstance. I think whoever it is that's being brought in is someone who doesn't even fully understand your thought process. Like they might know you really well, but they don't actually know you because there's a lot that you don't share. There's a lot they think that you're broody. They think that you're, like what sign is broody? What sign is kind of just keeps Scorpio? I have quite a few different friends who are Scorpio, and they, for the most part, kind of just keep their thoughts just in their own little sacred space, right? They don't really share too much about themselves, unless, of course, they like super duper trust you with their life, and then they'll share stuff. But even then, they're very selective of what they'll share. So it's like, this one person that I knew that's Scorpio, she would not really share much of anything. Um, and then she would privately kind of tell me this or that. And I'd be like, oh my gosh. But I would still get the feeling of there's more to it, but she doesn't want to say. And I'm not going to dig for it. I'm not going to ask for it. I'm just going to hold a space where it's like, you can tell me whatever you tell me. If I can help, I will help. I will offer to help. And I will leave it up to you whether you accept the help or not. And it will just kind of be that. And then we never bring it up again. Right. So it's kind of like that where the person is so definitely in their space and their thoughts, and they're seeking someone else out who thinks they know them. But it's like, you have no idea what this person thinks about. None. You think you do. You think you do, but you really don't. You really, really, really don't. They keep a lot of that to themselves. So just be careful about who you involve. Okay. Guys, I got to get going. Please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe. Turn on the notification bell. I might do expedites later tonight, depending on my schedule, or maybe on Wednesday. Hold on, let me look. But it's going to be just a few different types of expedites available. I know I had a couple people asking me when I'm going to do it next because they weren't able to do the fire ceremony on Friday. So maybe I could have a limited number tonight and then a limited number of expedites on Wednesday. We shall see. Okay, guys, give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe. Turn on that notification bell. Join me when I'm live. I'll see you guys again very soon. Bye, everyone.